Your parents are here, with a woman who looks exactly like you. My friend Sarah's voice trembled through the speaker, breathless and panicked. Come to the bank now, right now. I laughed, shaking my head as I pulled over to the side of the road. Sarah, that's impossible. My parents are on a 2-week anniversary vacation in Hawaii, and I'm literally on my way to work. But the dead silence on the other end of the line made the chill run straight down my spine. Alicia, I'm looking right at them, she whispered, her voice dropping to a terrified, desperate rush. They're at the teller desk right now trying to drain your trust account, and the woman standing between them, she's holding your ID, signing your name, and she looks so much like you it's terrifying. Get here immediately before they walk out with everything. My name is Alicia. I'm 30 years old, working as an architectural designer in Seattle, and until a Tuesday morning that shattered my life, I believed I had a completely normal family. Your parents are here, with a woman who looks exactly like you. My friend Sarah's voice trembled through the speaker, breathless and panicked. Come to the bank now, right now. I laughed, shaking my head as I pulled over to the side of the road. Sarah, that's impossible. My parents are on a 2-week anniversary vacation in Hawaii, and I'm literally on my way to work. My mother, Eleanor, had texted me a photo of a tropical sunset in Maui just 12 hours ago. My father, Richard, had emailed me a flight itinerary weeks in advance. Everything about their trip was documented, detailed, and utterly unassailable. But the dead silence on the other end of the line made a chill run straight down my spine. Alicia, I'm looking right at them, Sarah whispered, her voice dropping to a terrified, desperate rush. They're at the teller desk right now trying to drain your trust account, and the woman standing between them, she's holding your original passport and driver's license. She's wearing your exact style, her hair is cut like yours, and she looks so much like you, it's terrifying. Get here immediately before they walk out with everything. My heart slammed against my ribs. I slammed my foot on the gas, tires screeching as I tore toward downtown, my mind spinning into pure chaos. I slammed the car into park and sprinted through the glass doors of First National Bank, my chest heaving and knees trembling. Staying low, I slipped behind a massive marble pillar in the center of the lobby, desperately scanning the room, and then I saw them. Standing right at the main counter, looking calm and composed, were my parents. My father was adjusting his designer watch, while my mother held a leather handbag, the exact same handbag I had bought her 2 years ago. But it was the woman standing between them that made my stomach drop into a dark, bottomless pit. She was standing with my posture, wearing a beige trench coat almost identical to mine, with her dark brown hair cut into the same shoulder-length bob. From behind, anyone would have mistaken her for me. We just need to process the full withdrawal today, as my daughter explained, my father said to the clerk, his voice dripping with smooth, practiced authority. She's relocating, so moving the full $400,000 into this joint account is the most practical step. I didn't think. I just moved. I stepped out from behind the pillar and walked straight up to the counter. Is that so, Dad? The room went dead silent. My mother turned and every bit of color drained from her face. My father froze, his mouth opening, but no sound came out. The fake Alicia spun around, her eyes widening in sheer panic as she stumbled back a step. Up close, I could see the heavy makeup trying to mimic my facial structure, but her hands were shaking uncontrollably. Before they could even attempt to craft an excuse, Sarah clicked the silent emergency button under her desk. 2 heavy doors clicked shut automatically, locking down the exit, and bank security rushed forward to surround us. Step into my office now, the bank manager demanded, his voice stern as 2 armed security guards flanked my parents and the imposter. We filed into the soundproof room. My father immediately tried to smooth things over, holding up his hands. Look, this is a family misunderstanding. Alicia, darling, we can explain everything. Shut up, Dad, I snapped, my voice shaking with a rage I didn't know I possessed. For years, my parents had eyed the $400,000 trust fund left to me exclusively by my late grandmother. It was meant to secure my future, but my parents viewed it as money that belonged to the family name. The detective arrived 10 minutes later and began inspecting the fake Alicia's bag. He pulled out her real identification, Maya Vance, a struggling 24-year-old theater actress. Terrified of criminal charges, Maya broke down instantly. "They paid me $5,000, she sobbed, pointing at my parents. "They found me on an online casting board for an uncredited immersive drama role. They gave me photos of Alicia, taught me how she walked and talked, and handed me her real passport." My blood ran cold as I turned to my mother. "And Hawaii? The photos from Maui?" Detective Miller looked through my mother's phone, chuckling grimly. "She pre-scheduled those social media updates weeks ago using a third-party app, miss. We checked their cell tower pings. They never left a budget motel 5 miles from here." They had staged an elaborate vacation, manufactured an alibi, and hired an actress just to rob their own daughter blind. Detective Miller continued searching through my father's briefcase, pulling out stack after stack of final notices, collection warnings, and overdue legal demands. The truth came spilling out. My father hadn't just made a few bad choices. He had secretly gambled away their life savings, taken out high-interest loans, and piled up nearly $300,000 in luxury debt to maintain the illusion of wealth. They were days away from losing their house, and my trust fund was their desperate last-ditch exit strategy. "You don't understand, Alicia," my mother pleaded, tears smearing her mascara as she tried to reach across the table for my hand. I pulled away as if her touch were poison. "We were going to put it back. We just needed a short-term bridge loan. You have so much time to rebuild. But at our age, public bankruptcy would destroy us." "How did she get my passport?" I asked, looking at Maya, who was cowering in the corner. "My passport was locked in my apartment safe." My father looked at the floor, unable to meet my eyes. That was when the terrifying reality hit me. 3 weeks ago, while I was at work, my parents had used the emergency key I'd trusted them with to enter my home. They hadn't just stolen my passport and birth certificate. They had spent hours digging through my closets, photographing my clothes, reading my old journals, and collecting personal details so Maya could impersonate me seamlessly. They hadn't just planned a robbery. They had violated every boundary of my life. Standing in that office, looking at the people who raised me, I realized I wasn't their daughter anymore. I was just an asset to be liquidated. "Alicia, please," my father begged, his arrogant composure completely shattered as Detective Miller signaled for 2 patrol officers to enter the office. "If you do this, if you press charges, we will go to prison. Think about what people will say. Think about your family's reputation." "You didn't care about my reputation or my future when you sent a stranger to steal my identity," I said, my voice cold and steady despite the storm raging inside me. My mother dropped to her knees, weeping loudly. "We raised you. We gave you everything. Is a pile of money really worth destroying your own parents?" It was classic manipulation, the exact kind of guilt-tripping they had used on me my entire life to keep me compliant. But as I looked at the stolen passport on the desk, the years of subtle financial control and emotional gaslighting suddenly crystallized. If I backed down now, they would never stop. They would drain me dry and guilt me for refusing to hand over the towel. I turned away from my mother's tears and looked Detective Miller dead in the eye. "I want to press full charges: identity theft, grand larceny, conspiracy, and breaking and entering. Do not let them walk out of here." The handcuffs clicked loudly in the quiet office. My mother shrieked while my father spewed bitter curses, blaming me for their downfall as the officers marched them out through the back exit. Maya was led away in tears right behind them. I sank into a chair, staring at my trembling hands. I had saved my grandmother's legacy, but in doing so, I had just signed my parents' arrest warrants. 6 months later, the legal storm finally settled. My parents tried every trick in the book to delay the trial, using cheap public defenders to argue that it was merely an internal family dispute blown out of proportion. But the paper trail was far too clean and overwhelming. The bank's security footage, Maya's detailed confession, and the mountains of debt documents made a conviction inevitable. In the end, my father was sentenced to 6 years in state prison for grand larceny, identity fraud, and conspiracy. My mother received 4 years for her active role in the plot, while Maya got probation and community service in exchange for her full cooperation as the prosecution's star witness. With the legal battle over, I took immediate steps to secure my future permanently. I revoked every emergency key, changed the security systems on my home, and put a permanent credit freeze across all 3 major credit bureaus. Every dollar of my grandmother's trust was transferred into a private, high-yield investment account that required 2-factor biometric authentication for any major movement. A week before my father was transferred to a state facility, I accepted a visitor's pass to see him one last time. Sitting behind the thick, reinforced glass, listening to him blame everyone except himself through the plastic telephone receiver, I realized I felt no anger left, only a quiet, profound relief. I hung up the phone while he was mid-sentence, stood up, and walked out into the sunlight. I had officially severed all toxic ties, choosing my own peace over blood. Looking back, a single frantic phone call saved my entire future. It was the hardest lesson of my life, but it taught me that blood doesn't grant anyone the right to destroy you, and true family is built on respect, not entitlement. Now, I'm curious about your thoughts. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Would you have pressed charges against your own parents to protect your future, or would you have tried to handle it privately within the family? Drop your answers in the comments below. I read every single one and love hearing your perspectives. If this story kept you on the edge of your seat, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another dramatic story. And if you want another shocking story of betrayal and sweet revenge, click the video on your screen right now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.